Welcome to Pod Me If You Can, I'm David Farrell. Today on the show it's the 1997 film Breaking Up, starring Russell Crowe and Salma Hayek.
Pod Me If You Can, movie reviews.
Steve, Russell Crowe, is a photographer, and Monica, Salma Hayek, is a teacher. They live in New York and have been dating for 2 years when Monica decides that they should break up. They have sex, get back together again, break up, and then out of the blue, Steve proposes. Will they work out what they want, or, as the title suggests, would they be better off breaking up? So Breaking Up was directed by Robert Greenwald, who directed Xanadu, and Russell Crowe came to this film around the same time he was doing LA Confidential, whereas Salma Hayek would have come onto this on the back of From Dusk Till Dawn. The film is based on a play, and because of this it's really talky. Also, the characters feel trapped in these apartments. It's really claustrophobic at times. Maybe the nature of the stage play coming through. Monica says she wants happiness, good company, comfort, and emotional support. The thing is, these characters really speak in monologues at each other. They don't really talk so much as monologue. One of the major problems with the film Breaking Up is that we never get to see the start of their relationship, the meet cute, or the nice moments that they have. At this point in the relationship, they're not even nice to each other. They just seem sort of mean, and besides the passionate sex that they claim to be having, there's no real motivation for the two of them to stay together. It's intensely negative. As a viewer, you don't really care if they're together or not, because you've never been given a reason to root for them. The dialogue is quite tedious at times. When Steve proposes, he says he wants to get married quickly before he changes his mind. And they don't talk about important things. She asks, do you want to have kids if we get married? And he says, if we get married? And then they talk about whether or not they're going to get married, as opposed to whether or not they want kids. There's no B-plot to assist this non-relationship, and it makes it exhausting when it has to carry the whole film. Now, Breaking Up feels like a student film at times. It feels like you were in college and you said, how can we make this look better? And you put it in black and white. There are all these shots that are in there for the artsy reasons, you know? They use visual metaphors like a staircase to nowhere, you know, and repainting, which means a fresh start, and intercutting a scene of skipping with a shower scene, which is a bit bizarre. One of the most annoying things about the film is the freeze frames. You're having a scene, like a dinner scene, and then they finish talking and it cuts back and forth between the two characters as freeze frames. And this really felt like they didn't have enough footage to continue the scene, and so they did some voiceover later. It doesn't add anything to the film. It's frustrating to watch a visual medium where it's moving pictures and you're reduced to still images. Also, perhaps to add some filler to this film, they go out and shoot this like high 8 documentary with Russell Crowe and Salma Hayek going into the streets and asking people questions about love and marriage. And you can see that it's improvised and that they're making jokes with passerbys who have no idea this is a film. And it really feels strange. It has mariachi music playing. As I said, it feels like filler, and it doesn't quite fit with the movie's tone. It's a very uneven movie. They talk to the camera at the end because there are no other characters to talk to. They don't have friends. It's very boring and very dense, and it was very difficult to get through this movie at times. The characters are not redeemable, and as I said, they're not particularly nice to each other. Salma Hayek quotes Einstein in the film, and it gets weirdly philosophical at times, but mostly they talk about nothing important. This film at times feels like a fever dream, especially when Steve is approaching marriage and having second thoughts despite the fact he's the one that tried to convince Monica. There's some strange toe-sucking early on. You get to see Rusty's butt for a second, and a flash of covered breasts from Salma Hayek. The best part of this film, though, is the scene where Monica tells Steve about a guy at her gym to make him jealous. And the scene is all imagined by Steve, and he's this Fabio in the gym, and she's getting bench pressed by him and stuff, and he's losing his mind about how, you know, he might not have her ever again. The end of the film says, "The end," with 5 dots, and then the word maybe, which implies some kind of before sunrise, before sunset trilogy setup here where they're definitely going to revisit these characters. Except the end of the film, spoiler alert, except the end of the film, you already revisit these characters. You see a slick back hair Russell Crowe and a Salma Hayek who has kids. Then he shows pictures of his kids. And the two of them sit in this hotel room, and there's some chemistry between them. Obviously, it's a love from long ago. But we revisit these characters in exactly the same way that Before Sunrise, Before Sunset did. There is, however, a picture inside the cover of the DVD which shows the two of them kissing with the slick back hair, which makes me think that there was an alternate ending here. And I tweeted Russell Crowe and Salma Hayek about it, but as yet have had no response. So I think they shot an ending where the two of them kiss or get together, or it's more optimistic, it would be, we're going to leave our families for each other. So I'm guessing that didn't test well with audiences. But leaving it ambiguous like this was probably the best way to do it. It feels like a good film, breaking up, to watch, because it's been like 20 years. It's interesting to see that time where these two actors were just pushing into the frame and sort of this raw acting on their level. But the plot is muddled, it's very uneven, and it's very difficult to recommend because it's hard to get past the half-an-hour mark.
Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Check out our podcast at www.podmeyifyoucan.com.